Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Live from the Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show as we enter Game Week 24. And the headline of the show this week, it's virtually a 5 for 1, because it's one of those game weeks where we have single game day on Monday at the end of this week, then another game week next week, and then the following game week, one of the teams who plays in the single game day this week heads off the week on a Friday. So it's a way that we can restructure our sides. Poster boy for the show is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's been very good for Leeds at parts of the season. Hasn't been so great recently, but you see on the screen, 9 goals, 2 assists so far, 41 shots, 19 which on target, 37 shots in the box. It's racked up 8.17 XG, just under 1 XA, 12 big chances, 2 big chances created, 13 key passes. I assume they're probably nod downs. But yeah, we'll have a look, and it's one of those, for those that have played previously, you will know about these sort of restructuring weeks. You can get rid of a bit of deadwood in your side, go on to somebody for these 2 captaincy games, plus one in the middle. The one in the middle happens to be Arsenal, but you can't do a lot about that. It's the way the fixtures go. And for those that only played Cloud last year, we had a very similar game week with Nottingham Forest doubling on Friday, and they're going straight back to back the following Friday. There was 2 popular options last season, if I recall, Sells in goal and Chris Wood up front. If I remember right, Chris Wood scored in both games, got something like 20 points and 22 points as captain. So those that went with him were on like 42 for that sort of midweek double, if you want to call it that. And those who went with Sells, I think, got 1 clean sheet. I can't remember exactly. I can't remember the games, but I do remember the scenario, and that's why we're going to discuss it this week. So have a look at that first. Have a look at the team and the insights, the match centres and the leaderboard from the weekend's games. We'll have a look at transfer count. We've had some fixtures from the Premier League. We'll have a look at how they've how can we say, made a bit of a pig's ear of it. Have a look at goals and clean sheet predictions from the Solio team. We'll have a look at the charts, including sort of a bit of number crunch on Leeds. We'll have a look at my team and a plan, upcoming for the next week, and then we'll let everybody get off for the weekend. Enjoy the traitors, enjoy the football. Evening, John Boy in the chat. Hope you're well. I assume that you'll certainly be going for Leeds on Monday, if you haven't got anybody already. So let's have a look here. So this is the team fixture counts page from the transfer planner that I've been showcasing during these shows during the season. And I have fixed this where we can. So these tabs, it's all on the same tab, but there's 4 different ways to present the data. And I've tried to present it in a way that will showcase that Leeds have the most fixtures, as that's part of what we're looking to do. So on the left-hand side, you can see teams fixture count between dates, and I've put the start date as the 26th of Jan and the end date as the 6th of Feb. And you can see that everybody plays once, apart from Everton playing twice. They play Leeds this week and they play another game next week. And Nottingham Forest, they play a game this week and then they play Leeds in the first game of next week, and then Leeds there with 3. You can't do it between game weeks because everybody plays the same number of fixtures in a game week, and you might think it's strange that there's 4 fixtures for each team between 24 and 26. That's because 26 is a double. There are weekend and midweek rounds ahead of the FA Cup 4th round the following weekend. You can do it between fixture days. You look on the planner, you can see which fixture day is which, and you'll see that Monday the 26th of January is fixture day 63, and Friday the 6th of February is fixture day 67. And you get exactly the same on the left side as you do on the third table there. Then on the right, you can't do it necessarily per days unless you want to do it twice, but if this always defaults to today's date, so Friday the 23rd, and then I've put 14 days to show that you can get 3 Leeds fixtures and 3 Forest fixtures because they play on the Friday, to show that everybody's getting 2 because Everton will have had 2 games in that period. The only teams that will have had 3 is Leeds and Forest. John Boy's just put in the chat from memory. Chris Wood scored from a shot against Palace, which Henderson managed to let the ball go under him. And then Forest played the charity defence, known as Leicester. Didn't he chip the keeper? Could be right. I do remember that Chris Wood was the major beneficiary, John. I thought the game was against Brentford, but I could be wrong. Maybe they played Brentford on another single game day where Wood got a brace. I remember not having Wood. I had Sells, and obviously it didn't do me any good. Hey ho. So let's have a look at these little bits in a little more detail. This is from the fixtures tab that we'll have a look at coming up. So we can see there, fixture day 63, Monday the 26th of Jan, it is Everton against Leeds. Then everybody plays either Saturday, Sunday, Monday next week, and then Friday 6th of February is Leeds against Nottingham Forest. So you can see there, Leeds with the 3 fixtures, Everton and Nottingham Forest with 2, and everybody else with 1, either on Saturday, Sunday or Monday next weekend. So we had a question of Cloud FF Loser, and he said Everton or Leeds for the single game day. I would say in most cases Leeds if you want to do a restructure. I would say in most cases Leeds if you need to bring somebody in. Everton do, however, go on a decent run after Monday, so I'm not averse to having an Everton player come in, but it does mean, it's a perfectly skippable day, Friday the 6th of February, if you don't have anybody and you're not wanting to bin somebody off and get somebody new in. So Everton player, and Dye's back, I think, from AFCON. They've got Leeds at home, Brighton away, Fulham away, Bournemouth at home. Then they do have a single game day on Monday. But if they're playing Tuesday in that midweek, Tuesday the 10th, then there's games on Wednesday the 11th and Thursday the 12th. If you have a Manchester United player, you could move on to them ready for that single game day. Manchester United play. They play on the. No, they're playing on the Tuesday that week as well, so that's not going to work. Yeah, I'm not averse to Everton, but I think for most people it'll probably be Leeds. It'll probably be Leeds that I think will gravitate more than Everton. Like I say, I've got nothing against Dye. Pickford's good if you need to keep a change, and I would probably go for Pickford over the Leeds keeper in all honesty. But yeah, I think most people would be Leeds. Everton, don't mind. I think if you're going for Everton and you don't have Leeds, I would avoid Forest the following Friday, I think would be my advice. They play Brentford away this week, Palace the following Sunday after their final Europa League fixture. It looks like they're going to go into the playoffs. Who do they play? They've got obviously Leeds in the single. Wolves at home, which is nice on the Wednesday. They've got Liverpool, Brighton, Manchester City, Fulham, Tottenham. I don't really like Forest. I think that I put in a group chat for another subject entirely, but it looks like they're going to revert to the mean. I think Forest under Nuno, they did very well. I have a feeling that they're not going to maintain European qualification many years, I don't think. John's put, he might have got 2 in the Leicester game, but he could be correct v Brentford. Forest had a few single games. They certainly did. This year's Everton, last year Forest, I think. So, we'll have a look at my team in a bit, but I'm on the restructure route. I'm looking to bring somebody in, and it will be the poster boy. As long as he's playing, it'll be Calvert-Lewin. I'm going to take out one player, play Calvert-Lewin for the 2 captaincy games, plus the Arsenal game, and then I'm going to restructure on the Saturday with somebody else. Right, let's have a look and see how the team got on last week. Quick slurp while that comes in. So 70 points. And movement in the league table last week. I think I started 76th. I went up to something like 72nd, down to 73rd, and up to 70th. Or some kind of numbers along those lines. So who did we have? Roofs in goal. 2-1 home win against Palace. No saves for Roofs. Timber at the back, 6 points. Shalabar 7. Did he get pass in? No, just a clean sheet. He's really not getting the passing numbers at the minute. Virgil at the back, I think that was passing because they didn't get a clean sheet. Gabriel with 8. Van Heck was my captain on Monday. He got passing, tier and assist to get up to 7, double to 14. Rice, nothing. What did Rice get? A tackle tier and a shot tier, so a bit more than nothing, 4 points. Rogers was captain on Sunday. I think he had 2 shot tiers for 8 points. Enzo got an assist for 6. Ekiteke was captain on Saturday. I went with him instead of Haaland. Worked out to 4 points rather than 2. 70 points, much ado about nothing really. But no transfers used. And team seems to be reasonable. 30 transfers left. We'll have a look at the transfer count in a bit. Just wanted to highlight this is the insights page, so the top 100 captains or captaincy in the top 100 from the last game week, and it shows that Van Heck was 2/3 captained. Nobody else above 7% who was Dunk. 5% Welbeck and Gross, 3% no captain. Everybody else 3 and less. So let's have a look at the match centres. So the first game last week was the Manchester Derby. Caveat, I haven't seen any of these games. I saw a couple of clips of highlights, but we had a nice long week away in the smoke last weekend. A couple of recommendations. If you want a theatre show, I would recommend Witness for the Prosecution at the Central... what was it called? The Central Court, I think. It was an old court anyway. It's right next to the London Eye. Might have got that wrong. I'll check that and post it out. I can't remember exactly what it was called. And we went to do the Traitors Live, also in central London. That was near Covent Garden, I think, or Camden, on Sunday. Yeah, so a nice weekend away. So I haven't seen much football. So I'd have a look at the match centres, go through who scored. So Mbeumo and Dorgu were the goal scorers for Manchester United. Tier 3s were all in the Manchester City side. Donnarumma with the saves. Kusanov and Rodri with the passes. Chelsea 2, Brentford 0. Goal scorers were Pedro and Palmer. Tier 3s, Sanchez with the saves. Caicedo with the tackles, and for Brentford, Collins and Janelt with the passes. Leeds 1, Fulham 0. Nemecha with an injury time winner. No tier 3s for Leeds. For Fulham, Robinson with the tackles and Anderson with the passes. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1. Wirtz with the goal for Liverpool and Edwards with the equaliser for Burnley. Tier 3s, passing Van Dijk and Szoboszlai. Shots for Gakpo and Wirtz. Saves for Dubravka, and tackles yet again for Florentino. 9 tackles, tier 3. Sunderland 2, Crystal Palace 1. Goal scorers were Lafay and Brobby, and Yeremy Pino for Crystal Palace. Tier 3s, the only one was Henderson with the saves. Tottenham 1, West Ham United 2. Romero with the Tottenham goal. Somerville and Wilson, who we all thought was leaving West Ham. Looks like he's staying now. And that was an injury time winner. Tier 3s, Areola with the saves and Todibo with the tackles. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. This was the tea time game. Only Saliba with the passes, 92 for a tier 3. Wolves 0, Newcastle 0. This was 2 o'clock Sunday. Tier 3s, all for passing, all for Newcastle. Hall, Botman, Chow and Trippier. A clean sweep across the back 4. Aston Villa 0, Everton 1. Tim Barry, or TNO Barry, is the goal scorer for Everton. Aston Villa, Konsa with the passes, he had 80. Pickford with the saves for Everton, and Garner with the tackles for Everton as well. Then Monday Night Football, Brighton 1, Bournemouth 1. Costulas and Tavernier. Costulas with an overhead kick, Tavernier with a penalty. Tier 3s for Van Heck with a pass-in, Gomez with the tackles, and Truffert with the tackles. And we'll have a look at the leaderboard. So in 10th, Martin Brown, a Gary Rowell World 11, 1796. Ryan Walsh in 9th with Arts and Crafts, 1800 exactly. Melvin Poole, Melvinio 11, 1805. Tony Davies, FT Lauderdale Strikers, 1808. Dennis O'Sullivan, Da-la-di-da, 1810 in 6th. The aforementioned TNO, or Tim Barry, with Can I Just Shock You, 1816. Alex is in 4th, the leader on Christmas Day, with Fortuna Muckledorf, 1818. Walter Good, Wally Mandius Giants, 1824 in 3rd. 1 point ahead of him, JC Milan, Johnny Curry, Solio Expert and podcaster himself, 1825 in 2nd. And hanging on at the top is Aaron Smith with Bunnet, 1829 points for the week. Okay, so let's have a look at some more information. Yeah, John, I'll send you a message. I'll drop it in the chat as well. I'll find it and I'll send you a private message as well of where the witness for the prosecution is. It might come back to me, but it's struggling at the minute. But yeah, it's a very good show. So let's have a look here. So this is the average transfers remaining after last weekend. Overall down 0.75 to 33.72. Top 100 down just 0.06 to 26.27. Top 50 down a bit further, 1.54 to 25.46. And in the top 10 steadied off a bit, down 0.7 to 21.3. So the March TV fixtures have been announced, and by goodness have they got some caveats and asterisks in here. So I'm going to read them through with what's been announced by the Premier League. So it's a midweek round, Tuesday 3rd of March. 4 games on the Tuesday. 3 at 7:30 is Bournemouth, Brentford, Everton, Burnley, Leeds v Sunderland. And then we have Wolves v Liverpool at 8:15. It says we'll move to the 4th of March if Villa play in the Europa League on the 26th of February. Well, after last night's results, that won't be happening. Villa have qualified, so Wolves v Liverpool is free to stay at 8:15 on the Tuesday. Wednesday night, Villa v Chelsea, Brighton v Arsenal, Fulham v West Ham and Man City v Nottingham Forest are all 7:30. The 8:15 is Newcastle v Manchester United. And the standalone game on the Thursday is Tottenham against Crystal Palace. That's at 8 o'clock. All of those round of fixtures are covered by TNT Sports. And then Saturday, 14th of March. So this is after the weekend after the FA Cup. That'll be what, 5th round? Yeah, 5th round, I think. So there's caveats all over the show here, but initially they have put West Ham v Manchester City at 12:30 on the Saturday. The caveat will move to 8 o'clock on the same day if Man City are away in the Champions League on the 11th of March. Then we have Burnley v Bournemouth, Palace v Leeds, Manchester United v Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest v Fulham and Sunderland v Brighton, all listed at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Now, we already know that Manchester United v Aston Villa is going to be shifted to Sunday, 2 o'clock, because, as previously detailed, Aston Villa have qualified for the last 16 of the Europa League, so they have to play on Sunday because they'll be playing the previous Thursday. We then have Chelsea v Newcastle at 5:30 on Saturday. Then Sunday the 15th of March, they have done Arsenal v Everton at 2 o'clock and Liverpool v Spurs at 4:30. Now, I've put an arrow against this because if Tottenham win next Wednesday against Frankfurt, who have no chance of qualifying for even a playoff in the Champions League, both Arsenal and Tottenham will have home legs in the last 16 of the Champions League, played in midweek after Sunday the 15th of March. And guess what? They both can't play at home on the Wednesday. So one will have to play on the Tuesday. And if one of those plays on a Tuesday, then it's not going to play their league game on the Sunday. What a mess. If it transpires that Tottenham do qualify in the top 8, Arsenal already have for the Champions League, then one of those matches, and I will suggest it's likely to be the Arsenal v Everton one, is going to get bunted back to Saturday at some stage. When will this be known? After next week, midweek. And it could be, because Manchester City aren't guaranteed to be in the playoff or in the last 16 of the Champions League. Same can be said for Chelsea and Newcastle, and they are the TV fixtures the previous Saturday. So it could well be that Arsenal v Everton goes back to Saturday, and it could even be an 8 p.m. kickoff. It might swap with one of the other games. We just don't know. But you'll notice there's stars and asterisks all over this graphic, and this is direct from the Premier League. They haven't even bothered to tell fans of Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool or Spurs that one of those games is in danger of moving. Not very clever. We have another single game day on Monday the 16th of March. It is Brentford v Wolves, and I have a feeling that Mr. Thiago, if he's not in your team currently, will be by then. Bournemouth's fixtures improve as we get 4 or 5 games further from now. And then we get a bit more of a mess. Friday the 20th of March, this is the following weekend. Bournemouth v Manchester United is a Friday 8 o'clock. Good luck getting back to Manchester from there after the game. We then have Brighton v Liverpool scheduled for 12:30 on TNT Sports. And the asterisk says we'll move to 8 o'clock at night if Liverpool are away in the Champions League on the 18th of March. We then have some 3 p.m. fixtures. Aston Villa v West Ham. Fulham v Burnley. Manchester City v Crystal Palace. That one's got 2 asterisks. subject to possible EFL Cup final participation on the 22nd of March. Yes, because this weekend is League Cup final weekend. And Wolves v Arsenal gets the same 2 asterisks. Can be subject to possible EFL Cup final participation. One that doesn't get an asterisk there is Aston Villa v West Ham. That's going to get shifted to Sunday because Aston Villa are going to be in the Europa League last 16. We then have 5:30 Everton v Chelsea, 2 asterisks again. Could subject to possible EFL Cup final participation on 22nd. So if Chelsea do overcome the Arsenal 3-2 lead from the first leg, that could change as well. Then we get to the most ridiculous one of them all, Leeds v Brentford, which is currently scheduled for 8 o'clock on Saturday. Could move to 12:30 or 17:30, the same. I think they've missed off the same day there. The same, depending on other clubs in EFL Cup Final and Champions League, to be confirmed by the 2nd of March. So 19 days before the game, they're going to definitely tell you when that game is going to be played. Utter madness. Then on Sunday, we have 12 o'clock kickoff, Newcastle v Sunderland, and 2:15 kickoff, Spurs v Nottingham Forest, and as previously mentioned, Villa v West Ham could be then as well. And if Palace get through their playoff round in the Conference League, if Manchester City aren't in the EFL Cup final, then that will be Sunday 2:15 as well. Stay tuned for more incompetence from the Premier League, no doubt, but we will try and get abreast of this ready for you guys as and when we get the information. Okay. So these are now the fixtures as far as we can see. I've still got that yellow bit highlighted around 12th to the 21st of February because we're still expecting really Wolves v Arsenal to be brought forward into that gap somewhere. We can see a little bit further afield now, as mentioned. So single game days to come in March for Palace at Tottenham, Wolves at Brentford, and another one for Manchester United. This time they travel to Bournemouth. Okay. As I say, when we get more information on these, we will bring it to you guys so you know where you're going. We know it's important for those playing Cloud with captaincies making up for decent managers at over 50% of your points. Okay, on to this week. This is from the Solio team. This is Rob T. JC's in the same group. They're very, very good. So we'll have a look and see projected goals and clean sheets. So we're really looking for the dark blues on the goals and the dark oranges on the clean sheets. Early kickoff this week is West Ham v Sunderland. So much ado about nothing. That looks like it's got 1-1 written all over it according to those odds. Fulham v Brighton could be a bit more goals. Might be an entertaining match, that. If Van Heck gets clean sheet, I will be surprised. It's only a 24% chance. But as Rob T put out this week, Hugo Ekitike was an 86% chance to score a goal in one of his last 3 games against, was it Burnley, Wolves and Leeds? And obviously he didn't. But yeah, 14% chances don't come in all of the time. If they did, we would all be betting on the 86% chance at the bookies. So Burnley 1.07, Tottenham 1.45. Great win for Tottenham in midweek. Or can they back it up on a cold afternoon in Burnley? Remains to be seen. I think they've still got pretty much a scratch side, but they managed to scratch off Dortmund no trouble on Tuesday. The big one, Manchester City against Wolves. City are 2.78. We haven't seen too many getting over 2.75 in the predictions or projections. 43% chance of a clean sheet. Interesting for Gahey owners, anybody that's still got him. We expect him to be in the side on Saturday. He's definitely one to monitor. I think he's 7.7, 7.8, something like that. If he's playing and getting passing, I mean, City haven't been pulling up any trees, but he's bound to improve that defence if he gets into it, you would imagine. I think Diaz is back fairly soon. So, yeah. Haaland captain, I imagine, Saturday. Is there an inkling he won't play or won't start? I mean, City need the wins, really. And it's Saturday, then Wednesday. They've got a home game. They probably need a win to try and get top 8 in the Champions League. So tea time kickoff, Saturday's Bournemouth against Liverpool. Liverpool are up at 1.86, but 27% chance for clean sheet. That looks like a 1-2 according to the odds. Sunday's game, so we've got 3 at 2 o'clock, so it's going to be on that Sky Milton View rubbish again. Newcastle fairly favoured against Villa. Should be a good game, that, you would think. So Newcastle 1.74, 28% chance for clean sheet. Bruno G, anybody that's got him, Eddie Howe was vague at best, shall we say, in his press conference today. Didn't rule him out, didn't rule him in. I'd be surprised if he plays. Newcastle playing PSG on Wednesday. I think they're guaranteed to be in the playoffs even if they lose, but I think a win will get them into the top 8. So it could be a good game there. Another one on Sunday, 2 o'clock. Brentford against Forest. So Forest on the back of a defeat in, was it Braga? I think they played Braga in Portugal. I think they're guaranteed a playoff, all but very unlikely to get into the top 8. Brentford, Thiago most likely to score, you would think. 1.53, so that's 2-1-ish by the looks of it. Clean sheet 33% for Brentford. Wouldn't surprise me if they do keep one, to be honest. Sunday 2 p.m. third game is Palace against Chelsea. Palace look a bit. Yeah, it's all going a bit Pete Tong down at Selhurst. Players have left, asking to leave. Managers going. It's a shame for them, really. You would imagine Chelsea. They only just got the better of Paphos, didn't they? So, yeah, I think that looks 2-1 written on it as well. So, yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, hopefully Enzo can do something. Then the Pizzagate derby, Arsenal v Manchester United. Was it Wayne Rooney was saying that his 2018 would easily beat the current Arsenal team? Well, yeah, it's a Champions League winning team against a league team that hasn't even won a domestic league yet. I mean, you're not kidding. Of course they would. So Arsenal 1.93, so all but 2, 37% chance for clean sheet. Man United 1. 14%. So, yeah, 2-1, 2-0 Arsenal wouldn't surprise me. I think I'm going to be bringing an Arsenal player in on Sunday. It was part of the plan. Then we have Monday Night Football, Everton v Leeds. We've previewed this already, so we can have a look at charts on Excel. So this was from the fixture count. This is the points filter, game week value and position tab. And what I've done here is just had a look at Leeds. And the reason I've done that, because I think if you're looking to bring somebody in for the double captaincy, it's going to be Leeds. And if you have availability, you can restructure. My favourite player is Calvert-Lewin. I always like to attack a single game day or 2 single game days, aiming for the best if you can. One of my mantras in this game is you want sort of the floor points in your team, the floor players, but for captaincies you really want the ceiling players. Now it could be that Aronson pops up. He's more expensive than Calvert-Lewin. probably because he was deemed a starter at the start of the season. Calvert-Lewin wasn't. But look at the points there. Calvert-Lewin's on 96, Aronson 87, Stack 76. Then a few in the 60s, Rodon, Stroik, Ampadu and Gudmundsson just underneath at 57 and 55. So Calvert-Lewin there with his 9 goals for 45 points, 1 assist. Aronson, 4 goals for his 24 and 3 assists. Looking at some tiering points. So Calvert-Lewin's got 17 tiers. There'll be shots. Aronson's got 20, probably shots, maybe a bit of tackle. Stack 18, shots and tackle, I'm guessing. And then we're looking at Rodon, Stroik, Ampadu and Gudmundsson if you fancy 2 clean sheets for Leeds. So I'm going to put that back. This is something you can use on the planner. All you need to do is click on the filter. And I'm just going to put it back. The reason being is if you don't put them all back, the charts that we normally look at disappear. So this is now with everybody back in. So Haaland top of the shop, 194. Nearly 50 points clear of Thiago in second, who is himself well clear of Semenyo and Ruben in third and fourth. Bruno G is joint fifth there, with the aforementioned Chalobah, who's dropping back, and Mateus Nunes, who's still ill apparently. So yeah, not Ruben, Bruno and Mateus look like they'll be dropping further back from there if they're not going to play this week. So players by points per million. I think me messing about with that has dropped my line over the top off. I'll have to resort that afterwards. But yeah, these are the same players. Tier points. So Van Heck and Anderson still at the top, 50 apiece. Enzo and Rice, 47-46. Haaland and Mateus, 41-41. So not too much change there. Ownership. So we have Haaland at the top on 98. Timber, 71. Thiago, 69. Chalobah in the 60s. A few in the 50s. So not too much change. But as noted by the transfer tab we looked at earlier, we haven't had too many moves this week, really. I think there might be some this week on Sunday. Arsenal looks a moving day that we'll come to. Yeah, there's the line back in again. So those sticking their nose up above the top. Bruno G still there, well above. Riffs well above, and Semenyo. We'll have a look at the detailed numbers for you. So in the passing, so it's Tosin, who was back in the side in midweek, but talk of an injury. Dunk there on 76. Van Heck, 63. It seems strange with Brighton defenders. Either Van Heck's passing to everybody, including Dunk, or Dunk's passing to everybody, including Van Heck. One always seems to be above the other. I haven't seen enough of them to work out exactly what's going on, but I wonder if it's because they play an attacking wing-back on one side and a more defensive one on the other, and it depends on which side the ball's being played to. Have to have a look next time Brighton well, they were on Monday. I didn't really notice, but maybe I wasn't paying too much attention. Have to have a look at that anyway. So those in the orange, then we've got Curtis Jones, Saliba, Virgil, Ruben and Nico Gonzalez. Shots, just Haaland at the top. Palhinha, Ugarte, Bruggenham, Florentina and Magassa. I think there's not too much change here from last week at all, really. Areola, and then Dubravka, Trafford, Riffs, Marmadashvili, Johnston, Sells and Pope for the saves. Yeah. See if we get some changes for that next week. Okay, so a look at my team. So for Saturday, we are lining up with Riffs in goal, Ekitike, Van Heck, Virgil and Haaland. I think it's going to be Haaland captaincy. A change on the cards on Sunday. I think Virgil is going to make way for Saliba. It's the passing magnet for Arsenal. Clean sheets are more likely for Arsenal than Liverpool. It's a fixture game. We think there's going to be an extra fixture in early to mid-February. And this is the week where I think it can pay off. If Arsenal keep Manchester United out as well, it's an extra clean sheet points, but I'm fairly sure he'll get the passing. So my other options on Sunday will be Timber, Chalobah, Gabriel, Rice, Rodgers and Enzo. I've put the captaincy straight onto Saliba. I think it might stay there. I do like Chalobah, but he's not getting the pass in. I do like Gabriel if he can get a set-piece goal, but is that more likely than Saliba getting passing bonus? I doubt it. For Monday, so this is where the restructure comes in, and we'll have a little poke behind the curtain a couple of minutes to see where that goes to. But I'm going to be taking out Mr. Ekitike for Calvert-Lewin on Monday. That's going to drop me best part of 4 million into the bank. He's going to be my captain at Everton. Following Saturday, we'll have a quick look at this. We'll do it in more detail next week. It's currently on Van Heck at home to Everton. Not sure why. It'd have probably been on Ekitike if I still had him at home to Newcastle. Enzo might not be a bad shout there at home to West Ham in the TV game at 5:30. At the minute, like I say, it's on Van Heck. Probably a bonus, hopefully a clean sheet. Maybe that's what I was thinking. For the Sunday, two choices, or a choice between two, more correctly. Rodgers at Villa at home to Brentford, or Haaland at Tottenham. Bit of a no-brainer there, Haaland. Then the following Monday is Rufs. Hopefully he can bag a clean sheet. Then we have here the following Friday is Calvert-Lewin, where he gets his return. And this is where I've had a little peek behind the curtain. And Bruno Fernandes looks likely to come in on Saturday the 7th of February for me. I have enough money in the bank. I have the formation that allows. In fact, that formation doesn't allow, because that's a 5-4-1. So I'm going to have a re-look at that. Yeah, so we'll come back to that next week. I think I must have moved another player before I looked at that. Okay. Right, so next week then, what do we have? So Friday Night Live next Friday, and that's the 30th, and we'll be looking forward to Brighton v Everton, Leeds v Arsenal, Wolves v Bournemouth, all 3 o'clock. So 3 games, so 6 teams get to see the lineup next week. That's because Liverpool are playing. No, it must be Newcastle are playing in the Champions League away at Paris on the Wednesday. Liverpool host Karabag. Chelsea v West Ham is the 5:30, and then Liverpool v Newcastle at 8 o'clock. So decent Saturday there. Sunday games, Villa v Brentford, Man United v Fulham, and Forest v Palace, followed by Tottenham v Man City, and then the aforementioned Monday Night Football, Sunderland v Burnley. Right, well, thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed what you watched, please give the video a like. If you want to subscribe to get the transfer planners, you'll find that over on Patreon, patreon.com, Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, get the numbers up, that's appreciated too. In the meantime, we'll let everybody go and get some dinner, watch the Traitors tonight, see who's going to either win it with a green cloak or get bombed out with the same green cloak. Enjoy the football, and we'll see you next week. All right, cheers, everybody.